This week in Women in Sports, an unexpected announcement from Minnesota skiing legend Lindsey Vonn. And two Minnesota natives and Gopher legends received the highest hockey honors. Plus, some interesting changes for the Lynx this offseason. And later, a star volleyball player has a new vision on life after a health scare as a young child. Thanks for joining us. I'm Marielle Mohs, and here at WCCO, we are celebrating the highlights of female athletes in this new digital segment called Women in Sports. We'll share new stories with you every week right here as we do our part to give these athletes the recognition they deserve. First, one of the greatest skiers of all time is making a comeback.
Lindsey not one to shy away from a challenge.
I'm happy to be on the slopes again. I love doing what I do. I love going fast, and I'm just going to enjoy it.
Ooh, absolute chills. That's right. Lindsey Vonn is heading back to the slopes. The U.S. ski team posted this video earlier today. Minnesota native and Olympic athlete is rejoining the team effective immediately. That means she's coming out of retirement at the age of 40. Vonn last competed in the Olympics 6 years ago. The next Winter Olympics are in Italy in February 2026. So far, she's won 3 medals, including a gold and 2 bronze. She's also a 4-time overall World Cup champion and has 8 World Championship medals. Vonn was born in St. Paul and skied at Buck Hill in Burnsville as a kid. There's even a tow rope there named in her honor. 2 Minnesota natives and Gopher hockey legends have now been inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame. Natalie Darwitz on your left and Krissy Wendell-Pohl on your right were inducted on Monday in Toronto. The 2 players played for the Gophers in the early 2000s and for Team USA around that same time, each taking home Olympic medals. Wendell-Pohl was also the first American captain to capture gold at the World Championships. Now we're not just days away from the PWHL preseason, and the Minnesota Frost have big goals going into year 2. This week, the newly named Minnesota Frost practice at Tria Rink in St. Paul. The team is learning to gel with 7 new players drafted to the team and under new general management after Natalie Darwitz was ousted after the end of last season. This team knows they have targets on their backs going into the new season as defending champs.
They put pressure on themselves to be their best every night. I mean, we've got a lot of players who have played for Olympic gold medals, World Championships, that sort of thing. So this kind of goes along with that.
We had great energy. I felt like people were really just excited to be here, ready to work hard, and hopefully things come together quickly for us.
And if you just can't get enough of women's hockey lately, the PWHL announced this week that they have acquired the popular Jock and Jill's podcast as part of their growing media house. The podcast is returning after a successful first season covering the new league. It's hosted by Tessa Bonham, a former Olympic hockey player and World Championship gold medalist, and Julia Toucheri, prominent Canadian sports journalist. The pair is set to put out 2 episodes a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. They'll also serve as hosts at special PWHL events and games. The first episode of their new season is out now with special guest Abby Murphy. Might recognize that name. She's an Olympic silver medalist with Team USA who currently plays at the University of Minnesota. You can listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. A University of St. Thomas volleyball player is thriving in the D1 program after overcoming a serious health scare growing up. I met with her to learn about how she's found her new confidence on the court.
It's like my getaway from everything, if that makes sense.
On the volleyball court with the Tommies is where Megan Wetter feels her most confident.
Everything I worry about, it's free when I'm on the court.
As the team's middle blocker, she has to face her opponents directly across the net, something she's struggled with off the court.
Definitely growing up, especially in middle school, high school, I was very insecure about my eye. Never wanted to look people in the eye.
Her right eye shows the remnants of a tumor that was found in her eye by specialists when she was only 3 years old. Fortunately, the mass was benign and doctors were able to remove it. Even better, the surgery didn't impact her vision much or her game.
It attracts more light. So nothing else. I I feel like I can see better out of this eye than my normal eye.
However, the health scare at a young age gave her important perspective.
It might be tiring and draining, but it's fun, and like we get to do this. Don't take it for granted.
Today, she's leading the Tommies with the program's second highest single season hitting percentage and second most solo blocks. However, she's not the team leader. It's an intentional choice to not have team captains so that everyone can have a voice in their success.
And we respect everyone. It doesn't matter if you're a freshman or if you're a senior. Like, we all listen to each other. We all hold ourselves accountable. It's great like that, too.
I love that way of leadership. And just fun fact, the game footage that we got for this story was against my alma mater, the University of Denver, who the Tommies defeated on Halloween night 3-1. I won't hold it against you. Meanwhile, the University of Minnesota volleyball team is getting ready to play Michigan at home on Sunday. They're zeroing in on the last few weeks of the season, focusing on making some adjustments before the NCAA tournament starts in December. Serving and serve-receive are still areas Minnesota wants to improve on.
Be really efficient with where you're spending your time, right? We're in November now. Practices are shorter, bodies are tired, and so we've asked them to just do less things better, just reduce the number of things that are going on in their life, narrow it to being a student and athlete. We're narrowing a little bit of what we're asking them to do on the court to the things that are most essential, and just trying to hammer in those spaces.
The last time Minnesota played Michigan, the Gophers swept the Wolverines 3-0. It was one of the most offensively balanced games they've had all season. Coach Cook said he liked the way Minnesota stayed focused late in sets. He's hoping they'll be able to get the job done once again. The Gopher tennis team wrapped up its fall season on a high note. They finished with a 7-0 record in singles and a 2-2 record in doubles at the CSUN Fall Invitational. These are images from throughout the season on their social media. Overall, the team finished 12-11 in singles and 8-4 in doubles over the weekend. The Gophers men's tennis team will return in January for the 2025 spring season, but a few players may still qualify to compete in individual tournaments this fall. The Gopher women's basketball team is in Arizona this weekend. They're taking part in the Bryan January Classic in Tempe, just outside of Phoenix. They face Oregon State Saturday afternoon, then Southern Methodist University on Sunday. They're going into this tournament undefeated so far. And it's the Lynx off season, but the team is still making some interesting moves. Assistant coach Katie Smith is moving on to her alma mater, Ohio State, as an assistant coach. Smith led the Buckeyes to the national championship game as a freshman in 1993 and starred at Ohio State from 92 to 1996. Meanwhile, general manager Claire Duelius is moving to work for Nafisa Collier's new league. She'll become GM and executive vice president of Unrivaled. It's the 3-on-3 professional women's league that launches in January in Miami. Duelius has been with the Lynx for 11 seasons, moving to the GM role in the past 2 years. Collier will continue, though, to play for the Lynx. And over 40 years ago, Apple Valley High School was the team to beat in volleyball, with Hall of Famer Walt Weaver as their coach. But it had been 23 years since the Eagles made it to the state tournament until this year. Despite their loss in the state tourney last week, it's been an unforgettable run, and Ren Clayton has their story.
A reverse sweep victory in the section championship is consequential enough.
I was just in disbelief. Like, I've never cried after a win before, and like all the emotions just came rushing out of me, and I just had to cry.
But this win for the Apple Valley volleyball team meant so much more.
I never thought I would have gone to state, especially since my freshman year. Like, we haven't had a very good record.
It had been 23 years since the Eagles went to state. In the interim, things had gotten dire, like winning just 12 sets in 27 matches 2 years ago, and not much better last season.
Kind of like hopeless. Like, it felt like, I don't know, we couldn't really like do anything.
But underneath the losing, Apple Valley was improving.
Oh my gosh. Okay. We're gonna do better.
This year, not perfect, but finally good.
There we go.
I knew it was there, but like we really had to have the motivation to get there and have the mental change and mindset reset.
We have a lot of girls that are playing club now compared to how it was when I started, so that definitely helps.
The team historically has watched the state tournament from the stands.
Last year I told Hannah, I was like, imagine if we played in here. Now we are. So it's kind of like a dream come true, I guess.
This year, they played in the state tournament, and though it didn't end with a championship, a mountaintop was reached in 2024.
Escalating up to this point, like, We've lost first round of sections every year, and just like making it to this point has been like really exciting.
In Apple Valley.
Yes, Grok!
Ren Clayton, WCCO Sports.
Taking a look at the teams who were crowned in the volleyball state tournament this year, in Class 1A, the two top-seeded teams faced each other, Mayer Lutheran against Minneota. Mayer Lutheran got their 5th state championship with a blowout title win, 3-0. And in the big Class 4A matchup, Lakeville South versus Champlain Park. Lakeville South came out strong, winning the first 2 sets, but Champlain Park fought their way back. But it wasn't enough. In 5 sets, Lakeville South went on to win their first championship ever. And this was also the first time since 2019 that Wayzata hasn't been in this championship matchup and taken home the title. Well, this young woman played soccer, basketball, and softball, but this fall she played football. It's required perseverance and patience to finally get on the field. And when she did, she made kicks and memories. Mike Max introduces us to Maya Carton, the kicker of the Fridley football team.
Maya Karsten was a strong soccer player in junior high, had that strong leg.
I started in 8th grade. Coach Reese asked me to join the team because I played soccer and it was during COVID, so football season was later, and I just came out, tried it, and here we are now.
She was recruited to play some football by the head coach, but her football dream was derailed twice. 2 ACL injuries her sophomore and junior years.
I mean, there's definitely some doubts here and there, and after coming back from the one and then doing the other, you know, it really goes down. But I kept on going, pushing, because I knew that I would be at the point where I am today.
But this fall, in her final season, it did work. Her leg was back, her dream realized.
Maya mental toughness showed not only myself, but any student athlete that you could persevere and have resiliency, because she showed that not only going through 1 ACL injury, but going through 2.
An unforgettable season. Making kicks is not easy, and she did.
I mean, you gotta kick it perfect, you gotta keep your eye on the ball, it's gotta go straight and up and high, but you still got all these boys coming at you trying to like tackle you and hit it.
She has left her mark as a student athlete, making an impression at Fridley High School.
Maya is a phenomenal student athlete that we've been a privilege to have inside of Fridley Public Schools from elementary all the way through now, and I'm just glad to have her.
She will play basketball this winter, and she's a softball player. But this fall will never be forgotten, as the season it did work out on the football field.
The fact that we were able to be successful this senior year really just made it all come together.
Congratulations, Maya. Way to be a trailblazing athlete. Thanks for watching this week's Women in Sports. We'll be back with more great stories next week. I'm Marielle Mohs.